Just do the work so that it becomes a habit for life. You know what I mean? Welcome to No Edits Needed. My name's Josie Lynn, and today we will be talking about 5 hard truths about self growth that no one talks about. So let's get started. Today for my snack, I have a can of sardines, some cucumbers. This is like half of a cucumber, by the way, and some Ritz crackers. Don't touch me. Don't thank me for eating sardines. They're full of omega-3s. Okay. I'm also a college student. Drink of the day is the San Pellegrino Aranciata Rosa. Here's the crack. Hands down, if you haven't had one, get one. I'm not gonna lie, I'm defrosting chicken in the back. That's just what's going on. Anyway, to me, this is not super obvious, but one hard truth is that you have to start from the inside. You have to work inside out, not the other way around. What you do on the inside will eventually reflect on the outside. But if you don't do that inside work, you're just gonna revert back to who you are on the inside. That's just what it is. To be honest, but okay, that's just what it is. If you want to be somebody who is always organized, always does this, you have to work on that internally first. Figure out your triggers, figure out why you aren't that way, what has caused you to be that way. Once you unpack that and then you start building habits around that, you're set. I will say one of the best books that I read in 2024 was Atomic Habits. And I say that because, oh my gosh, these are bare naked. Anyway, keep sardines. I say that because Atomic Habits teaches you that habits are more complex than what they seem. And so it helps you break down, like, what is your reason for your habits? What are some unconscious habits that you do that you don't realize that you're doing? And helps you unpack all that and open that up. So I definitely think that if you are on a self-growth journey, Atomic Habits is a book that you should definitely pick up. I'm telling you, don't knock it till you try it. It's salty. Cucumber's not salty. Combine the two, put it on a cracker. It's a great little snack. It'll get you by. I'm not gonna lie, I think I have to rotate the chicken. The next thing that's a hard truth that nobody talks about is that there are no shortcuts to self-growth. Like, there's none. Because if you take a shortcut, you're taking the long way, because the shortcut isn't going to get you the results that you actually want. Putting in the work is the only way you're going to get the results that you want. And you may be like, Josie, what does that even mean? I've been, going to the gym and doing all this stuff and blah, 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 blah. Have you done the internal work yet? Because like I just said, you got to work from the inside to the outside. So if you're trying to work from the outside to the inside and thinking that it's going to be faster, it's not. The whole point of self-growth is for it to last. You know what I mean? Because hot take, you doing all this stuff and it lasting no more than 6 months is like a buttload waste of your time and energy. Just do the work so that it becomes a habit for life. You know what I mean? You're developing. Well, you know what? Scratch that. You're always able to improve because you're alive. Your story isn't over because you're not dead yet. So why not make an awesome story and put in that work that you need to, so that way your life goes smooth like butter? Just thought. That's the chicken right. I've got to turn it again. I'm not even gonna lie. But you know what? I need to dump out these crumbs because, like, How am I supposed to use that as a cracker? Anyway, next thing that I feel like is gonna put some people off, but this is just, this is just the truth of the matter. Self-growth is not fun. I know the internet likes to make it seem like working on yourself is super aesthetic all the time and it's relaxing and you just have this, exponential self-improvement journey and you figure out how to work your life the way that you want to work it. And it's just easy peasy and there's nothing to worry about. Wrong.
Huh?
You have to unpack some very uncomfortable things and truths about yourself if you want to grow as a person. When they say you have to shed your old self to develop into your new self, that's true. Granted, you don't have to lose all of your old self. There's still parts of your old self that are important, but you have to debunk your old self and find ways to utilize your personality in different ways than you have been before. That's uncomfortable. I'm sorry. Here's your authenticity for the day. I go to therapy. I've been going to therapy since 2024 because 2024 kind of took me out. Late 2023, early 2024 took me out. I went on a mental whirlwind for a lot of different reasons. So I put myself in therapy. Some things that I realized about myself. Granted, I knew that I was a perfectionist. Most people told me, you can't be perfect. It's impossible to be perfect, which is true. And I understand that. How I think about perfectionism is that technically you can be perfect if nobody ever actually sees you on a bad day, which is like impossible because everybody has bad days. We're human. But I have strategically only fallen apart at certain times and in front of certain people because I'm afraid about how they would react if they ever saw me break down, which is a hard truth and it's uncomfy. And another truth that I learned about myself is that I treat every interaction that I've had as a test, like that I'm going to get a score at the end. So, which is unrealistic because, if somebody unconditionally cares for me, I wouldn't have to show up like that. But it's just me. I've been wired that way. So I'm trying to unwire myself that way, which is a whole different beast. But that's why I made this, that's why I made this channel. That's why I did the little switch up. Because there's some things that no self-help book is going to touch on because it's unique to you. Not that what you're experiencing is you're the only one that's ever experienced it, but it's such a niche thing, you're probably not going to find it in a self-help book. So that's why I'm here, because at least if I stay authentic to this channel, I can at least be the authentic version of myself. This channel is my way of forcing myself to tackle my perfectionism and forcing myself to be authentic, to not edit myself, to not show up in a certain way in front of people, and just to show up and see what happens. So if you can relate to that, I think you'll like it here. But that's just me. Number 4. We're on number 4. I wasn't counting before, but now I am. We're on number 4. The next hard truth: you're not going to feel different on your self-help journey until you are placed in a similar scenario and realize that you handled it differently than what you would have before. It's like, I know we were just talking about tests, but it kind of is a test. You say you get into a disagreement with somebody and, you're one to, that's a really big piece. You're one to yell and scream and shout. Okay. You go through your journey, you debunk a lot of things about yourself. You may still yell and scream and shout. You may, learn that you don't have to yell to get your point across to the right people. Not yell at all anymore. And just talk to people. And if you feel like you have to yell, you just don't, you stop the conversation, you don't engage. I've had to do that. I used to yell all the time. I grew up in a household where yelling was normal. It was a normal form of communication. It wasn't until I realized that most people don't communicate that way that I started to like figure out, hey, I can still be heard without having to yell. So now, every day or every interaction when I get upset, I challenge myself not to yell to get my point across. And if I genuinely feel like I have to yell, I gotta take a break. Because I don't wanna step outside of my character. That was me before. Me now would not do that. So I gotta put a nice pause on it. Lastly, number 5, self-growth does not end. It does not end. You will see how you can continuously improve on different aspects of your life, different aspects of your personality, the second you decide that you want to go on a self-growth journey. Therefore, it'll never end. Phases of your life will change, things will happen in your life, and you'll find new ways to improve upon those things, whether it be your job, social life, everything. It'll never end, which is good because I like to think that we as human beings never peak. There's always something you can work on. There's always a higher potential because we're not in the same stages of life throughout our 100 years of living. You're not the same person you were in elementary school. You're not the same person you were in high school. I think you can technically peak for that era of your life. Like when you're about to graduate high school and you're like, I've done everything. I'm ready for something new. You can feel like you've peaked there, but you haven't really peaked as a person. You will never peak as a person. We are exponentially growing at all points in time. So, yeah, self-growth doesn't end. Feel free to, take that in. I'm gonna add a number 6 as a bonus, secret bonus that I didn't mention. You will lose people on your self-growth journey. Sorry. If they do not, match the path that you're on, you've got to let them go. Cut them back. Cut the string. Cut it loose. Sorry. Because, why are we holding on to characters of season 1 when we're in season 2? You know what I mean? It's a little silly. But yeah, you will lose people who aren't growing with you. Some people will grow with you, and that's great. Some people will not grow with you, and that's also okay. Because not every interaction is meant to be lifelong. That doesn't mean that every interaction can't be a lesson. I know there's some interactions that I would definitely like to take back if I could, but I can't. So I look at what did I learn from that experience. It's what keeps me sane. That is the end of today's video. If you liked it, subscribe, comment down below, share, like it, and I will see you when I see you. Remember, here, there are no edits needed, and authenticity is the chicest thing of all. Bye.